Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Vanessa Maria Graber, and you're listening to the People Power Lunch Hour on Philly Cam Radio and on Philly Cam TV. Today, we are going to be talking about the work that the Women's Coalition for Empowerment does, and also talking a little bit about Women's History Month. I'm joined today by founder and executive director, Shakina B. Welcome to the studio.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here today, and let's talk about the Women's Coalition.
Yes, and happy Women's History Month.
Happy Women's History Month to all of you ladies out there doing great things in the community and making history.
You have a great resource for women in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about the organization and the work that you do, and then tell us what inspired you to start this organization and provide these services for women in Philadelphia.
Okay, we're a 501c3 nonprofit dedicating to educating, uniting, and empowering women. We decided to send out resources and information to help women become self-sufficient. We've made partnerships with certain retail stores where we were able to donate in-kind donations to low-income women and families. And now we're promoting our Arts and Cultures Initiative, which is known as Sisters Attune. So it's a program that is for female vocalists of color in the jazz community, looking to create opportunities, develop initiatives to allow people to support the arts, to engage more into the jazz movement with individuals who we would name as descendants of the jazz world. So we have an upcoming event next month called the Ella Festival, where we'll be honoring Ella Fitzgerald at Venice Island, and we have amazing vocalists. We have Elegant, Bethlehem the Vocussionist, Jakia Saunders, and Alexis Simmons. What we're trying to do is allow the public to know that supporting the arts is very important. A lot of these women in the arts community look to the arts as their primary source of income. So we just want to stress that the community needs to be more involved. We want our leaders to be more involved with the funding, and I guess the fear of losing funding potentially, hopefully that doesn't happen, but we would like for everyone to kind of engage more, share the information, support. And that's kind of what we're out. Nobody's really speaking on it as individual artists. You see artists performing all the time, and a lot of times they're not getting paid. And that is a lot of them, their primary source, their livelihood. So we're trying to engage our potential funders, our community and donors to provide resources, gifts. We need compensation. So we're talking about it, we're speaking about it, and we're doing more to, especially women of color in the arts. There is a significant intersectionality of limited opportunities, disparities where they are not being seen as professionals. They are not being engaged as professionals. And we're tired of just doing exposure. We would like compensation. We would like to have support, respect, and we would like to be on an equal playing field as a lot of our counterparts who are successful in the arts and culture community.
Well, you'll have to send them our way to WPPM, because we're also doing a campaign in April, because April is Jazz Appreciation Month.
Yes, it is.
And so, of course, Philly's a jazz city. We have so many great artists, and you're absolutely right. You know, we need to support them and make sure their work is elevated. So send these women our way. We're going to be featuring jazz artists throughout the month on WPPM, and also jazz performances on Philly Cam TV.
Oh, yes.
So tell us a little bit more about some of the networking and like financial empowerment services or workshops that you offer.
Okay, so we have budgeting workshops where we sit down with ladies and we talk about the importance of allocating your funds to priorities, bills. You know, where can you extend dollars to actually pay yourself? Because a lot of times we're focused on things that are unimportant. You know, sometimes we shop, we spend income that could be much better used on something reliable as whole life insurance. These are things, you know, bettering your credit. A lot of us in low income situations, we don't consider the possibility of credit because we're so focused on trying to survive. We've had workshops for artists who are looking to engage in opportunities for workforce development as performers. And at this stage, we're actually doing that with Sisters Attune. we're helping them to work on your portfolio, engage more in the technology. So we sit down and we have internal workshops and discussions on what can make you sell your art so that it can help to compensate you to become more self-sufficient using your talent. We also, we sit down and we have a thing called Share Talk. And it's like tea time for ladies, and we sit down and share, okay, this resource is available. You know, we have low-income, subsidized housing websites that are available for individuals looking for, you know, affordable housing. We know about information if you need a rent rebate program, who's doing it, where is it at, how can I engage in it? Are you someone who needs food stamps and you're afraid of actually applying because you think you'll be turned down? We have individuals who know the process and will assist you with that. So we're really trying to engage women together as a sisterhood to become empowered, to become self-sufficient, to rely on one another, and just be a unified force to reckon with.
So that women can be more independent,
Yes.
so they can grow, make progress,
Absolutely.
and reach that next level.
Yes, that's the hope, and that's what we're doing. And actually, we also engage some of our retail businesses in providing us with in-kind donations and items from their stores, and we donate them to low-income community. And we do this every year. For the last 3 years, we've donated probably close to $100,000 worth of in-kind items from Home Depot, Williams and Sonoma and West Elm. And we have new sponsors. We'll be providing gift cards from Whole Foods locally. We'll be providing them at our upcoming event at Venice Island on April 28th at, the Recreation Center, 7 Lock Street, Philadelphia, PA.
That's great. And what inspired you to do this work? I mean, obviously, nonprofit work, it's not easy. Organizing people in Philly and working with low-income individuals. Tell us when you started this and why you decided to do that.
You know what? This started probably around 2009. But in the organization, I sat down with some ladies, and we were just always sharing information. And those same ladies became board members of the organization, and we decided to make it something available to a larger network. So we sat down, we came up with ideas and resources. If you go on the Women's Coalition's website, we have a resource section which provides you with almost probably more than 100 sites available to become self-sufficient if you want to start a business. And a lot of times you go to some of the public assistance offices, they have some of they're doing some work, but unfortunately there are just additional, we're trying to fill in the gaps of things that individuals aren't aware of. We're trying to give the community, and specifically the women in the community, ways of becoming, more in control over their lives. So that's kind of what we've started. And I was motivated as a low-income individual myself, using some of these very resources. And I said, man, nobody knows about this. I go to the public assistance office and I'm like, well, do you know about this? And they're like, no. So I said, well, we need to start sharing this information to help our community to engage women so that they can eventually become more empowered and then empower others.
Are you born and raised in Philadelphia?
I am not. I am a New York City transplant. I was born in Brooklyn. I lived in Staten Island, and I came to Philadelphia some years ago.
Your new home.
Philly has been a new home for me, and I've been here. Went to Temple, and Temple alum.
I think Temple has that effect on people. They don't want to leave. They stay here, which is good because then they start great things here in the city. What do you think some of the biggest challenges are for the women that you work with in terms of, trying to get ahead?
I think one of the biggest challenges is the shame, the pride of asking someone else for help. Most people don't want to feel like they're beholding to another individual. Most people are almost embarrassed to say, I need help, and the Women's Coalition is a comfortable platform and environment for the sisters out there in need of help. There is no shame here. If you need help, reach out. We're here. Send us an email, engage in some of our activities that are ongoing and some of our workshops. And now that I'm coming out of the cocoon, instead of doing just virtual activities, now we're going to start really beating the streets, because the time is now. It's more important now that we start stepping out, reaching a wider audience, because we all can help one another. Everyone that has come into the Women's Coalition's network has been an asset. So no one's a liability here. Everyone's been an asset to provide information, to help the next person, bring talent and skills that will be useful to the Women's Coalition for Empowerment, so that we can increase and grow. And now we're having additional sponsors. We're engaging funders, and people are like, wow, who are these people? We've been around for some time, but now we're stepping out of the shadows and, coming out. So we're here.
I think we're seeing, after the election, a lot of nonprofits trying to, step up their game and go out into the community more. I mean, talking to a lot of women and neighbors and people in the community, I'm sure you hear a lot of what their concerns are.
Oh, yeah.
Can you share with our listeners some of the things that you think women are fearful about or concerned about as it relates to their community and perhaps, their local, state, and federal government?
Well, so many things I could say about that. I think the fear for a lot of individuals is failing. And sometimes you may fall down, but that doesn't mean you fail. That's just the trip on the way to the path to success. And especially now at this point where the National Endowments for the Arts is in jeopardy for next funding fiscal year, it's almost like a motivation tool for us, so that now we have to find creative ways of going about increasing our opportunities, increasing our network. For the first time, we've never applied for a city contract. Now we're like, you know what, let's apply for it. We didn't know how, we just figured it out. And now we're pending the possibility. We started to apply for grants. There are grants out there that are beyond the arts world. There are many other skills that you can also use to apply to become successful. If you know how to crochet, maybe you should start doing that. Start a business. We are very big into supporting women-owned businesses and entrepreneurship. So if you have a business, if you have a skill, make that your money maker. Make that your, increase your network. Make your network.
Besides the fear of failing, what other concerns do women talk about, if their children, their families, their neighborhoods?
Just not having support, especially women who are single parent moms, not having the support, and a lot of times the community not really being as welcoming or engaging with single mothers. It's almost like you're looked down on. And you still, even though being looked down on, you still have to be motivated enough to get up, get out, make an opportunity, take care of your family, take care of your children, provide, support, and hold your head up high in spite of all of the back talk. And a lot of times what I have faced personally as a woman, my fears, which have come to light, which was I wasn't getting the support of other women. A lot of times there are women in power and you're like, well, can you mentor me? Can you engage me? And they don't have the availability, or they just are not interested. And when you want to be engaged in a way that empowers you to become better than, I don't want to just, serve you coffee and be your personal assistant. I want you to empower me to become another leader. There's a gap. And we're trying to bridge the gap. So now we're trying to make ourselves leaders. We are making ourselves leaders. And we want to be a pillar in the community, a beacon for all women who are in need of support. Come to the Women's Coalition for Empowerment. Come to us. We want to engage you. We want to engage with you. We want to grow with you. We want to have individual and collective growth among women. So that way you're not in search of, there's a female leader who I am just absolutely I admire her so much, I'm afraid to reach out to her. Don't feel that way with the Women's Coalition. Reach out to us. We are willing to reach out to those who are willing to reach back, and bring your skills, bring your ideas. You shouldn't feel like any ideas you have are not great ideas, especially if it could manifest into something that could potentially help you and others.
It sounds like a great opportunity for both people who have had success and want to share that knowledge with other women and women who are looking to climb the ladder.
Yes, and a lot of times we diminish our success. We diminish our success. We don't give ourselves enough credit. We don't celebrate our triumphs. And I think even something as, whatever your triumphs are, whatever your successes are, if you were able to figure out how to send a PDF file, I think you should celebrate that, because that's a very valuable skill to have. And we just want to make sure that women understand how important their role is in the world, because as long as women are empowered, we'll have a better place. And unfortunately, the reality is we're still, an oppressed group, and we're hoping to change that. And it starts with us. It really does start with us.
Who are some of the women that inspire you?
I would have to say my grandmother, Miss Onita Hines Clark in Barbados. She's an inspiration to me, my mother, and a lot of strong women, Condoleezza Rice, Michelle Obama, of course, Michelle Obama, just to name a few who have been instrumental in showing that I'm a Black woman, I'm strong, in spite of the things that could potentially hinder me from growing. I can still do great things. I can still make history. I can still inspire others. So seeing those women who've come from, humble beginnings and seeing how powerful and inspirational they are today are motivating to me.
And what are some of the qualities that they share as individuals? What about your grandmother and your mother is so inspiring to you?
You know what? My grandmother, who's living in Barbados, she, had 8 children, and we didn't grow up with a silver spoon in our mouth. They didn't have that. She was able to take care of my mom. She raised 8 children. They're all doing wonderful things, and her grandchildren are doing wonderful things. And it made me want to, in spite of her not having a male counterpart to provide that support, she didn't say, I'm going to just get rid of the children. I'm going to still raise my babies and, engage them, provide them with education. She always stressed that education was important. My mother, she stressed that education was important. And that's something I continue to pursue. And I will always, increase my education, increase my knowledge base so that I can do more.
Shout out to all the grandmothers out there. Again, it's Women's History Month. We want to give appreciation, and credit where it's due. I'm in awe of so many of them, and during a different era when they were able to raise so many kids on such little resources. I'm just in awe on their ability to do that and continue to this day. To take care of people.
Yes, and she still does. Like, my grandmother just came up to see me last September for my wedding, and I said, Grandma, can you please bring me some Bajan seasoning? That's, Bajan seasoning is a big deal. And to this day, she will still look out and bring that seasoning and show love and be very supportive. And, her telling me that I'm making her proud is also motivating for me to continue on.
Did your grandmother and your mom pass down recipes and food?
You know what? They do kind of, sort of, yes. I don't know. It's a Caribbean thing. You have to figure it out. So they're like, okay, well, I just threw in a little bit of this, threw in a little bit of that. There is no tool for measurement. You just have to know. So me, at the age I am now, I'm just figuring out the little spices here and little spices there, and it kind of works out. So, yes, I can make some very good, authentic Bajan food.
Yeah, I think women hold a key to a lot of our culture and food that's passed down from generation to generation.
Yes.
But I think part of empowerment, too, is like healthy living and making sure women who maybe are on food stamps or low income are able to get access to healthy foods.
Yeah, and you know what? I think the misnomer is we live in an environment where in the inner city and some of the underserved neighborhoods, there are food deserts. You know, you have to go about 5-10 miles to get to a Trader Joe's if you're living in North Philly, and depending on where you are in North Philly. And the misnomer for some of those individuals there are, well, it's going to cost too much. You know, there are stores out there that are very affordable that sell very healthy food. They have the produce junctions, and, you know, there's Trader Joe's, and there are a lot of different stores and shopping facilities that you can actually acquire healthy food and feed yourself. It's just that, you know, for many who cannot afford the means of transportation, you know, they're limited to their neighborhood and it's overpriced. So we talk about couponing, and we have a insider that knows how to coupon. So, you know, we're actually going to do that next year. We're going to do that this year, soon, later on in the year. We're going to actually do like a couponing workshop. Another initiative that we're doing regarding donations. Actually, tomorrow, we're going to go to First Presbyterian Church of Germantown, and we're going to donate about 232 bars of soap that was sponsored to us by Clean the World. And they provide healthy hygiene soap that was recycled. And we're giving them out to the community because, unfortunately, if you have a food stamp or food stamps card, EBT card, that's not providing you with hygiene products. So there's a gap. There aren't hygiene products being provided, and women are struggling. I have to think about whether or not I should eat or should I buy a bar of soap. And it's, you know, unfortunate. So we're trying to fill in some of the gaps as we can, as we're getting resources, as we're able to acquire sponsorships. So we really believe in trying to support the women on their way moving forward.
If there's a woman out there who's listening who might feel isolated, maybe she's a single mom and she feels not supported, as you said, you know, by the community, what would you say to her?
I would say don't give up. I would say contact the Women's Coalition for Empowerment. Perhaps we can provide you with information, resources, a group of sisters who are non-judgmental, who are open-minded, well-informed, and resourceful. So come out to our events, check us out, stay tuned, sign up on our e-newsletter on our website, and, you know, don't give up on what your dreams are. Yeah.
That's good advice. If you're just tuning in, I'm speaking with Shakina B. She's the executive director of the Women's Coalition for Empowerment, and they're an organization here in Philadelphia that has a lot of programs and services and resources for women and helps them put them on the path to success and empowerment. And it's also Women's History Month, so we're celebrating women, and especially women doing good things in the community. Before we take a break, tell our listeners again how they can get in touch with you. Maybe shout out your website again and your upcoming event that's happening.
Okay. If you want to engage with the Women's Coalition for Empowerment, we are located at www.thewce.org, so the WCE.org. And our Ella Fitzgerald event, which we're a celebration honoring the 100th birthday of Ella Fitzgerald. That'll be happening April 28th at Venice Island from 8 to 10. So, you know, it'll be featuring Ella Gaunt, Bethlehem, my girl, the percussionist, Jakia Saunders, and Alexis Simmons. So, you know, check us out.
We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back more with Shakina B. Keep it locked here. You're listening to WPPM 106.5 FM and watching live on PhillyCam TV.